I think we share this one, but I'm just going to jump to the Jets and go ahead and get this one out of the way because it's the most head scratching ADP I can find.
Yep.
But it is Breece Hall, who is sitting at RB 15, going at the end of the third round right now. Doesn't really make sense to me. Last year, he was fourth among all running backs with 76 receptions. It's despite everything else going on there, he averaged 4.5 yards per carry on 223 attempts. He's still only 23 years old, which like he's younger than some players like Ja'Cory Crosby Barrett that people are touting. Um, and the Jets have they've improved their offensive line significantly this season. Let's get the concerns out of the way because I think they're pretty overrated. The first concern is that Aaron Glenn has talked up Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis.
And specifically Braylon Allen.
Yes. Okay. I mean, honestly, that's my answer. Like Aaron Glenn comes from Detroit, which used two running backs supremely efficient.
Yeah.
If Breece
Guess
Hall,
what? Everybody uses two running backs, unless you're the Eagles with Saquon Barkley or the 49ers with Christian McCaffrey. Everybody has somebody else in the backfield who is at best an annoyance, and at worst, they actually matter for fantasy.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about this guy later, but there's a lot of like trash talking Justin Fields' ability to manage the offense because in preseason passing camp, he's like 5 of 14 on some days. If you actually watched the New York Jets last season, you would understand how horrendous the offense really was, and it was terrible. And the improved offensive line, the adults in the room, which mostly means taking Aaron Rodgers out of the room, lead to a lot more opportunity for Breece Hall just to be in a fully functioning offense. And the improved offensive line play is going to give him the rushing lanes. He's not going to lose his job to Braylon Allen. That's patently absurd.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe Braylon Allen does play 35% of the snaps this year. Maybe that happens. And if it did, I still think Breece Hall will outperform this ADP. I mean, I have my RB8. I think you have him in a very similar range as well. I went back and looked last year because I was curious. Braylon Allen only played above 50% of the snaps one time last year, and it was a game that Breece Hall did not play. So, like, just call me crazy. I need to see him actually play. I know different coaching staff. I get all that. He's a fun player, like big, strong, fast. I get all that. He's not the same caliber player as Breece Hall, who I think is one of the best 10 running backs. That's being, I think, pretty, like, I could be a lot more bold than that.
Yeah, well, and I'm not going to compare situations, but if the Jets offense comes out and is good, this could be very similar to what happened to Saquon, where he had several seasons in such a bad, shallow offense that wasn't running big boy concepts that he was never able to shine because he was the focal point of every defensive possession. If Breece Hall can be part of an offense where you don't have your wide receiver one coming out and saying they were checking the plays he didn't know, there's a high likelihood that he's just going to be more efficient on those carries and be able to be the player we know he is, which I mean, I think he's probably a top 6 RB in the NFL. I'll go out on a limb and say that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, what's Aaron Rodgers famous for? Throwing the ball inside the 5-yard line. So, like, theoretically, there's going to be more rushing attempts inside the 5. Now, will Justin Fields take some of those? Probably. Will Braylon Allen take some of those? Maybe. But the argument that I don't hear a lot of people making for Breece Hall is the one that is like a tale as old as time with running quarterbacks. Running quarterbacks open up rushing lanes for the running back all the time. And that's going to happen. Like, yes, the quarterback is going to keep it sometimes. And there may be some plays where Fields scores a touchdown where like, oh man, like I wish that were Breece. Like I wish it would have gone the Breece. But there's also going to be more rushing lanes, I feel like, for Breece this year too. And he was like the RB 18 or 19 last year, which again, that's like right around where he's ranked right now. I feel like that, as long as he's healthy, that's just like the absolute floor outcome for Breece Hall in my mind. Whereas RB8, that's not the ceiling because we've literally see him have an RB, I think 2 or 3 overall season. So I'm with you. This is one of the more perplexing ADPs. And I think like my best explanation I mean, we have the hype for the other guys. I think it really just comes down to uh, people saying either I touted Breece Hall in the first round last year, or I did take Breece Hall in the first round last year, and he did about the worst thing you can do. He didn't miss games and he underperformed. So he like never let you off the hook as a fantasy manager if you had him. And I just think there's probably hard feelings from that.
Yeah. Well, just to bring back to your point about rushing quarterbacks, this is from Graham Barfield over at Fantasy Points. But going back to 2010, offenses where the quarterback had at least 5 designed rushes a game, so offenses that had running quarterbacks, their running back one on average scored 4.2 more points per game than teams that had quarterbacks that did not have 5 designed rush attempts or more. So, like, a pretty full suite of data to say, like, it's good to have a rushing quarterback. And I know those two concepts are hard for some people to hold in their mind. Like, no, the quarterback's going to take all the runs away and the running back's never going to do anything. That's not the case. It gives the offense a lot more creative ways to address the way the game goes about and when their running back gets it and makes the linebackers second guess which hole they need to hit.
Yeah, and it's funny, like Braylon Allen's ADP is RB43. If we're so sure he's playing 40% of the snaps, why is he RB43, guys? Like, why is he? So that's the other thing I don't get is like, why is Allen's ADP not come up as Breece Hall's has come down? I just, this whole thing is confusing. And I think if you can start your draft with, let's say you pick early first, you take Jahmyr Gibbs, you take a receiver you like late second, you take at the beginning of the third Breece Hall, and you've got a legit wide receiver one, like low end. You've got a legit running back one, high end, and then you've got, I think, an RB1 as your RB2. Like that type of build is like the dream build. I think Breece Hall, just when you look at your team after you're done drafting, you're going to feel so great with that guy on your RB2 spot if that's how things work out.
Yeah, and this is no disrespect to this player, but Brees Hall is currently one spot above Alvin Kamara in full ADP and running back ADP. And I have 1,000 more concerns about the Saints offense, offensive line, play calling than I do about anything in New York. And I guess the Alvin Kamara argument people are probably making is, well, who else is going to get the ball in that offense? And we've done that a billion times, and we've have enough data to say that that's a very bad argument to have in fantasy football.
Yeah, but I mean, Kamara's still an awesome player, and I don't have any problem with Kamara's ADP. It's more of a problem where
No,
of
I agree with
Brees'
Kamara's
ADP.
ADP. I just disagree that those
Right.
two should be in your same mind when you're picking a running back.